Hello, hey, hi everybody. Did I say hello? What I meant to say is halo, not hello. Yes, being because I have received the epiphany or revelation that say the word hello is like wishing a curse upon somebody, being it because the root word of the word hello is he and a couple hockey sticks, or he and a couple toothpicks, or hell, being of which is a word that is to be translated to be defined as meaning a place of torment for unsaved unbelievers or non-believers. At least I think I had said halo much rather than hello in the very beginning. If I didn't, if I made a mistake of saying hello rather than halo, first and foremost, then I'm sorry. I apologize. Let me get some light in here. Sorry about that. I was just going to step out to take care of some necessary business. So far as my apartment room lease, then some such that has to be taken care of, as I want to become of the rank and file of the homeless ratio, statistical percentiles of percentages, and whereas I have never been homeless by choice, and regardless of my present proverbial neighbor from hell, one of the dime a dozen, excuse my language, pardon my French, dickhead pricks, uh, creeps and crazies, public nuisances, or problem neighbors, is once again acting out or misbehaving in a negative way, like as if he himself is attempting to drive me out of house and home. Well, that's not the half of it, that's an understatement. More than likely, more often than not, he himself is. And likewise, as well, all the same, like as if he himself has lost his marbles of mind altogether. I think you all get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. Read between the lines, fill in the blanks. And then to think that he had the audacity, the nerve to attempt to possibly add insult to injury by, knocking on my apartment door for a place of residence, after I had called the police upon him, after he had went about his quite regular, usual daily and nightly routine of making like bam, bam rubbles with all of the different extreme and excessive noises being in which he makes daily and or nightly, for the weekdays, weeknights, weekends, including for that of holidays, unless he himself has some babies, monster kids, but then, still all the same, that is violating his apartment room lease, as well as it would disrespect my rights and privileges as his fellow neighbor of a resident or tenant, among other ones. Where certain neighbors are like that, they attempt to terrorize and traumatize still other neighbors, being that because they're nuts, crazy, they're crackpots or cranks, as well as effing idiots or freaking idiots, of social rejects, or of the likes of whom are finding it ever so difficult or hard to try to understand a simple concept of do unto others like you would want them to do unto you, you know, as a matter of, you know, being neighborly. But you know how certain people or persons are, being the likes of some sorts of such types of characters as they is, well, whatever I would say, be I speaking correct, proper standard English grammar, American dialect or not, or be I speaking the King's English or street slang for that matter, qualities and quantities. But some people or persons you just can't get along with, regardless of how much you would try to think of it with my intentions to give them benefit of the doubt and go all out your way to resolve an issue of a disagreement. I mean, being because I never done anything to this person, he's just a crazy effing idiot, as well as a creepy one, you know. Then hold that thought while I backtrack here with reasonable purposes being, or so I can go on with the following to continue from where and when that my person had last left off, so I can finish up as incomplete a former previous prior line of thought in the senses were so far as concerning the basic introduction before I were to go any further in speaking upon these particular matters of a subject, or before I were to speak upon anything else for that matter, Yes. So I was saying I no longer say hey, hello, but I mean, I know that Prince P continue regular my mind compared to Prince Doc and to confuse my speech. What I meant to say. I no longer say hello, then because after I received an epiphany or a revelation, as I was saying in a state for the record, that to say the word hello in a greeting to somebody else, it's like you're wishing a curse upon that other person of some or such, or vice versa, being that because the root word of the word hello is hell, then which is to be defined as translated meaning a place of torment. So much rather instead, I substitute that of saying the word hello with that of the word halo. And in addition to how I would still all the same be like saying, no, not to mean contradict myself or sound seem like I am, but I was about to make reference to some or such other words, whereas I would still nevertheless say the words hey and hi, being some or such similar to halo. Then how are you all doing? My social media family. Any visitors to my own personal channel and or chat room and or channel or whatever I've said. And being of whom are of whatsoever races and of, both of the two sexual genders, of the old and young alike, representing not only the human species, but then nevertheless the global community within this post 911 era of our new millennium apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight compared on to our formerly previous or prior to then. It was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said, all right. If not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, family, friends, hoping me and mine likewise. And although my social media family can or could possibly, or rather, let me rephrase that. And although any visitors to my own personal chat room and a channel could possibly become or be a whatsoever walks of life or whatever factions of society or lifestyle preferences, but then nevertheless, I must say and or state for that being a record that my social media family of any members to some or such of subscribers of mine cannot become or be whatsoever walks of life or whatever factions of society or lifestyle preferences. I mean, there's a reason or purpose for my person having said that. Then because I myself personally, I could not possibly hang with some of anybody and everybody. Been there, done that, don't want to do it again. God forbid. Maybe a long time in coming, if and when, or better yet to be said, if at all, because I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, you have got to recognize and realize people's places and things. Hanging out with the wrong crowd at the wrong time, at the wrong place can or could possibly have, and more than likely, more often than not, would or would probably have some such rather severe or serious consequences. Been there, done that. You don't want to do it again anytime too soon. Again. As I was saying, stay tuned for that being the record. And if I were to find out that there are some of such of my social media family or members to it being subscribers of mine that could possibly have become or be whatsoever walks of life or whatever factions of society lifestyle preferences, then I would consider their status to be like on to that to be compared on to any of the likes of negative internet trolls who come into my own personal chat room and our channel to attempt to disrupt or interrupt the proceedings by coming off as being antagonistic or antisocial or of a different line of thought than how I would wish for my domain to be one of peace, because I'm not having it. If you come off like some sort of such a type of a negative internet troll that could possibly remind me of that being the or person of a character of a neighbor from hell, excuse my language, pardon French, dickhead prick, or one of the dime a dozen public nuisances or problem neighbors of cowardly characters, especially the ones that be bothering with other neighbors' apartment doors, then you have got to take a hike, because I will not tolerate it. I have a zero tolerance level for that. Not having it. Nada. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can put up with the freeloaders being persons who come into my personal chat room and or channel and fail to do what I say, so far as if you pay a visit to that being in my personal channel and or chat room a third time, then I would expect for you to subscribe to it. But then if you don't, well, that's all good and fine. Just don't come in here as a negative internet troll character, because it would be bad enough that you would insult my intelligence, disrespect me in that regard or in reference to coming in here as a freeloader and not thinking of it with a man's intention to subscribe to my personal channel and or chat room. And as I need the recommended required 4,000 subscribers so that I can or could possibly begin to get paid for doing some of such other social media broadcasts or videos other than the ones being of which are of religious, supernatural, or spiritual content, being of which I would more than likely, more often than not, do free of charge, and that's what I'm doing mainly or mostly at the moment. Only doing social media broadcasts of mine or videos, being of which are of a religious or supernatural or spiritual content. Anything else outside of that, of another format being of a secular nature or one of some such as that being, then I would only do that once in a blue moon, nowadays. And because I'm not going to do practically and or possibly just as many secular social media broadcasts or videos to be compared on to the religious or supernatural spiritual ones, being of which I myself can or could possibly compose and or process or post. No. Because unless I get some incentives, then I'm not doing it, like once in a blue moon, if and when, if at all, Then because the secular social media broadcasts or videos of mine are not as important as the religious or supernatural spiritual ones, I would have to be given some incentive. That is, as in translated, be defined as meaning. I would have to get the necessary, or as I was saying and stating for the record before, so I say and I'll state for the record here and now, once again, I would have to get the necessary, recommended, required 4,000 subscribers so that I can get paid before I were to do practically, if not possibly, just as many secular social media broadcasts or videos of mine to be compared on to the religious or supernatural spiritual ones that being of which I would do, as in go about thinking of a man's intentions to compose and then process or post once I were to, complete this one or that one or it or some or such of a nature or format. Otherwise, it's that being of the same of the said in question and of the former, previous, or prior mention. Okay. So if you are coming to my personal channel, my personal chat room and our channel, attempting to add insult to injury after having freeloaded and not subscribe to it after the third time you pay a visit to it, and then you want to attempt to diss me, and it takes a whole lot of time and energy, not to mention it really tries my patience, on a mental level to compose and then process or post into my social media broadcasts or videos, being of whatever kind or whatsoever sort of type, then I'm not having it, You coming here as an internet troll in the negative, attempting to not only, insult my intelligence and disrespect me by not subscribing to my channel as you come off like some sort of such type of freeloader as you come here the third time, but then you want to add even more disrespect by dissing me, by leaving your negative comments or remarks or whatever I've said. Then first of all, I will block your chat. You hear what I'm saying? Then second of all, I will bar you altogether because I'm not having it. No, I'm not. I can't afford that kind of agitation or aggravation, frustration. Hold that. When a neighbor from hell, excuse my language, pardon my French, dickhead, prick, cocksucker, of a rather faggy or possibly worse yet, closet faggot male character, whereas they would be more or mainly or mostly of male characters, much more, not just more, but much more than the female rival counterparts. I mean, whereas the neighbor from hell, character of a nuisance problem neighbor, of a dickhead prick, can or could possibly attempt to agitate, antagonize, aggravate, or frustrate me enough as it is. As a believer in God, believe it or not, though at times I can play the part of the devil's advocate as less two evils, being a prodigal son. Whereas the worst two evils is enter those false brethren, false prophets, and or antichrist of those what you call supposed so-called holier than thou's or modern day religious Pharisees and or Sadducees or wolves and sheep's clothing or snakes in the grass, who would think to attempt to devour the flock, or cattle or sheep as the hireling who cares nothing for, the sheep compared on to the good shepherd, and as many more of them are of the likes of prosperity preachers, fleecing the flock, some of such monetary finances or for financial monetary gains, because that's what they do as they come forth as angels of light, being those demons in the flesh, as they would be considered, or the religious church hypocrites, religious con artists, religious chameleons, religious shysters, religious phonies, religious fakes, religious church hypocrites, being of the worst of the worstest of unbelievers and unbelievers, being of deceivers, who pretend to have become believers in God as in Christians, aka Protestants, and therefore they themselves, being of those to be considered among the likes, would as well, all the same, also be considered as being of the likes of the worst cis, or closet devil worshippers, being of whom maketh the majority of most churchgoers or whatsoever religious denominations, yes, or whatever ones to be possibly considered, or some sorcerer types from the pools to the pulpits, of members and visitors alike. So if you come into my personal chat room and or channel, attempting to start some garbage, some trash, some mess or crap, attempting to use my own domain for your podium or platform to, spread negativity, then go elsewhere, bounce. Get the damn hell out of here. I'm not having it, Yeah. If you have a mind's intentions with a rather twisted, warped, wicked mindset to remind me of a neighbor from hell, cocksucker, dickhead prick, or rather faggoty or closet faggot one, of a really obnoxious, negative SOB bastard. Like whoever's playing with my apartment door right now, who needs to get away from it before one's creepy as well as crazy ass land a spot in a jail cell, as well as a crazy house. Because that's a violation of one's apartment rental lease, as well as it disrespects my rights and privileges as one's fellow neighbor. That goes for anybody, be it of a neighbor, of another resident or tenant pulling that bogus crap, or some stranger off the street that comes into the building for whatever reason, other than to, just go about with some criminal activities. In that same or in a similar soul thought, and in the same or similar soul word. Anyway, though, this is what I have to deal with, you all. Hey, you all take care and be blessed. Then stress and take care. And I hope you get God in your life, get salvation. For tomorrow's not promised to anyone. Peace.